Lighthouse Academy. I want to thank all of our colleagues from our team at Louisville Metro Government that are here with us today, particularly the Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, which is leading this exciting new initiative. We're very grateful to have Congressman Morgan McGarvey with us here today. Thank you for joining us, Congressman. I know you have a very busy day here. Congressman is not in D.C. this week, and so he is crisscrossing the district, meeting with constituents and working on important business here in Louisville. We are also joined by District 2 Councilwoman Barbara Shanklin, who represents Newburgh and is a longtime champion for Newburgh, for improving public safety for our entire community. Our Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhood, Paul Callanan, and Reverend Roosevelt Lightsey of Community Missionary Baptist Church. And as I already mentioned, we're also joined by Deputy Mayor of Emergency Services, David James. All of us here in Louisville are working hard every day to make our city safer, stronger, and healthier for everyone. We're working with urgency because these are not small goals, especially when it comes to public safety, and more specifically, when it comes to gun violence. When someone is killed by a gun, that impact travels much further than the path of the bullet. There's physical trauma, emotional trauma, families torn apart, and communities left hurting and mourning. To protect lives and stop gun violence before it happens, we're working on a number of multi-level efforts, from taking steps to better support our police department, to expanding the successful crisis call diversion program and the group violence intervention program that has seen tremendous strides over the past few months. And of course, there's so much daily work being done by our colleagues at the Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhood. And thankfully, we're encouraged by what all of this work is collectively making a positive impact on our city. Homicides are down. Non-fatal shootings are down. But let me be very clear. While these are positive trends, there is much more work that can be done and must be done. And while our hands at the local level might be tied with some of the state laws that prohibit us from doing some things that we would like to do right here in Louisville, that is not stopping us. All of us are taking action. We're taking action with urgency to reduce the amount of gun violence in our city. And that's why we're here today. This afternoon, we have come to share the good news that the United States Department of Justice has awarded our Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods $2 million in federal funding to launch a pilot program to reduce gun violence right here in Newburgh. This pilot program will be called the Newburgh Gun Violence Reduction Project, and it will be a 3-year pilot that focuses on a very specific geographical approach to identify and implement neighborhood-specific solutions. Through this program, the Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods will be adding an interrupter site right here in Newburgh, and that brings our total to 6 such sites across the city, joining other locations that we already have active and in use in Portland, Shawnee, Russell, Smoketown, and the California neighborhoods. The Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods will hire an additional outreach case coordinator and 1 program manager that will be based here in Newburgh. This is going to be an ongoing grassroots effort with a lot of collaboration between Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, community leaders who are here with us today, organizations, and every resident that wants to be a part of this solution. I'm grateful to everyone who has made this possible, and I'm especially grateful to our United States Congressman, who is working hard every day representing Louisville in the United States Congress to make projects like this a reality, to help us leverage federal resources to solve local problems like gun violence, like improving public safety. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce my good friend, our amazing United States Congressman, Morgan McGarvey.
Thank you, Mayor. He mentioned it's been a busy day crisscrossing the district because I'm in Louisville. I'll just say that for the mayor, that looks like a Thursday of where he is everywhere doing everything he can. We appreciate your leadership on this and so many issues. To Councilwoman Shanklin, thank you so much for your leadership here. You continue to push not just for Louisville, but for Newburgh and keeping people safe. The mayor mentioned an urgency here. I want to underscore the urgency of this. The number one killer of kids in America right now is gun violence. We've had more mass shootings than we've had days this year. We have seen the impact of gun violence in Louisville, from every day on our streets to even suffering our own mass shooting less than a year ago. It has to stop. And to stop it, we all must come together. And I am thrilled that we are getting federal resources right here into local hands who know how to stop gun violence in our community, to give kids a chance, to give people a chance, to make sure that our neighborhoods are safer, are stronger, are healthier, and are more secure. Because it is going to take all of us, from the mayor to the Metro Council, to our churches, to our community groups. It's going to take all of us working together to end the epidemic of gun violence. And what I think this pilot project is going to show is that we can. That if we put the resources behind it, if we put the people behind it, if we are unwilling to accept the defeatist attitude that we can't cure this epidemic, then we will. And we will have a better and more prosperous Louisville for the future to come. So thank you guys for being here today. Thank you to the mayor and your amazing team, Councilwoman Shanklin, Reverend Lightsey, others, for doing this work, for making sure that we are getting the right people in the right places. And we're happy to keep bringing some more funding in to help. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Congressman McGarvey. Well, we are fortunate to have an amazing group of public servants serving on Metro Council who are focused on their home neighborhoods, but also our entire city. And we are very fortunate that Newburgh is represented by one of those amazing council people. Councilwoman Barbara Shanklin is really focused on the safety of her constituents here in the Newburgh community. Whether it's the safety of the streets and our work to install some speed humps recently to slow down traffic and make it safer for cars and for people, and particularly when it comes to the safety of kids. We worked in partnership to just recently in Petersburg Park unveil a new skate park that Councilwoman Shanklin had been advocating for years. We got it done with her help and partnership with the administration. So now young people have another reason to be in the Petersburg Park and not out on the streets and doing something that none of us would like them out there doing. She's also a great partner when it comes to working on every effort to reduce the amount of gun violence. So let me introduce our partner, Councilwoman Barbara Shanklin.
I have to hold on to my cane. Okay. This investment in our community will help leaders better engage with our at-risk youth. Right now, I know the community center really works hard with the kids, but this funding will also help to get nonprofits involved, different programs that the kids could have where they because we have a lot of disadvantaged kids that need a place to go. I have a personal story. I had a nephew that got killed 3 days ago. I mean, it's just really bad. The violence is bad. The at-risk kids and young people out there, they don't care. And the amazing was it was the strangest thing was there was 2 women and they had masks on over their face, and they actually saw them on the ring. But women and girls, young people, they're involved in the same thing in this gun violence. You hear it all the time. They find a lady here shot, stabbed, or whatever. So this gun violence, any kind of violence needs to stop, and we have to work with the nonprofits and whatever it is to get some different programs in here to help our youth. So I just hope and pray that we can do this and it can stop some of the killing that we have around here. Thank you, and I appreciate it. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman, and we are all very sorry for your family's loss. It's just one of the far too many acts of violence that we see in our community. And when you hear stories like that, it just makes it clear this is not about numbers. This is about people. This is about the impact on loved ones, on families, on friends, on entire communities. And so we are doing everything we can in our administration to reduce the amount of gun violence. And the coordinating agency for much of this work is the Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, that is working with, as Councilwoman Shanklin said, nonprofits, with faith-based institutions, with other government agencies to implement short and long-term solutions to these challenges, to improve the pathways for young adults and kids in our community. And leading that effort is the director of the Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, Paul Callanan. Paul?
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to start off by thanking Mayor Greenberg for his leadership in addressing gun violence in our city. I want to thank Congressman McGarvey and Councilwoman Shanklin for the continued support and partnership that have helped us get this grant. The funding from the Department of Justice will allow us to expand our efforts to reduce gun violence in two ways. First, as the mayor previously stated, it expands the number of our community violence intervention interruption program sites from 5 to 6. Violence interruption programs are a public health approach to reducing gun violence by specifically focusing on stopping the spread of the violence. The program hires individuals who utilize their lived experiences and knowledge of a specific community to directly engage those individuals and groups driving violence. Their focus is on detecting and interrupting potentially violent situations, changing the thinking and behavior of those most likely to engage in violence, changing group norms and community norms that support and perpetuate the use of violence. Funding from this grant also supports the training of all of our violence interrupters and outreach workers across the city on how to better de-escalate and mediate such conflicts. Secondly, the grant allows us to better understand how to implement a violence reduction approach at a neighborhood level. Addressing community violence requires both a macro and a micro level approach. At the macro level, it involves a community whole of city approach, where we focus on how community and government leaders and organizations commit to working together under a collective framework that ensures that we are all working towards a shared vision of a safer Louisville. Work at that level typically revolves around building and sustaining funding streams, policy development, resource allocations, and cross-sector relationships. At the micro level, the concentration is on smaller geographic areas. We focus on how we implement a full consortium of intervention and prevention strategies in a way that they complement one another to maximize effectiveness. It requires us to understand how to best utilize neighborhood level factors that can strengthen our effort and navigate through those that may present as barriers. So beyond looking at the individual level of working directly with individuals, we explore both the physical and social attributes unique to a community. Physical being the built environment, natural spaces, and food and housing resources. Social being the relationships and connections between organizations and residents, both of which are dynamics that can directly affect the level of gun violence within a community. The Newburgh project will serve as a pilot that provides us an opportunity to learn how best to build and implement a micro-level model that can be scaled, replicated, and adjusted as needed in other neighborhoods across the city. However, what excites me most about this effort is that it reaffirms our commitment as an organization and as a city that any effort to address violence must be in partnership with our community partners, ensuring a fair, just, and equitable approach. This project will be overseen by an advisory board of a diverse set of stakeholders that work and reside in the Newburgh neighborhood, allowing for a community voice and ownership of any proposed solutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our final speaker today is an institution himself here in the Newburgh community. Reverend Lightsey and his church do amazing things for this community, and they're a great partner. Their church is located right across the street from the Newburgh Library, from the community center, from the park, and very active in working to improve the lives of all Newburgh residents. Reverend Lightsey is also very active in other initiatives citywide to promote issues related to juvenile justice and to help support positive trajectory for all of our kids around the community. Reverend Lightsey, we really greatly appreciate all of the things that we have partnered with you on so far, and we're excited about what this new pilot program gives the Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods even more opportunity to partner with you and your colleagues. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Lightsey.
Thank you, Mayor Greenberg, to Congressman McGarvey, Councilwoman Shanklin. I am happy to stand here before you today as president of the Newburgh Ministerial Association and pastor Community Missionary Baptist Church. We're glad to see this day come. I'm reminded that from the pages of scripture, a prophet of old was led to a valley of very dry bones. The question was posed, can these bones live again? The response was, God, you know. There is a new wind blowing in our community. None of us can do it all by ourselves, but together we can and we will make a difference. Please know, government, we thank you for your support and recognition. And I'm sure that you understand that we will remain vigilant and we will do all that we can to make sure that these funds are shepherded well and that we are good stewards of the public trust. So together we can. Everybody can't do it all, but everybody can do something. And together we will. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Lightsey. That concludes all of our formal remarks, but we are happy to answer any questions about this pilot program if any members of the media have any questions. Sure, I'm going to let Paul Callanan start, and then if there's anything else, I'll add to it, Paul.
Yeah, there's a couple of funding sources that are going to be combined with the Department of Justice funding as well too, to expand services beyond just the violence interrupter program as well too. But if your question is around the revolving around who do we hire for violence interrupters, it's basically somebody that has a background in, probably in the community, familiar with the community, but has some level of connection to those individuals that are driving violence in our city. Typically gangs, groups, stuff like that. We do a thorough work with them. We do a thorough hiring process with them, and we train them how to do this job. It's a replication of the national program that's been very effective in other parts of the country of reducing violence. Why we chose Newburgh over other areas is we've been aiming to expand this violence interruption program into Newburgh since we originally launched the initial 5. This grant gave us an opportunity to accomplish that, but at the same time gave us an opportunity to develop, as I said earlier, that micro level approach. Part of the success of that micro level approach really depends upon the relationships between people in that community, whether it's between the leaders and the stakeholders and the community and the residents. And Newburgh has a solid foundation for that under the leadership of Councilman Shanklin and the Ministerial Alliance out here. There was a network in place that was quickly and readily available to step up for us to work with to help guide this project. The rest of the city will benefit from this from 2 reasons. When we look at violence in Newburgh, it's not just the violence that's impacted within Newburgh, but it's also violence that's impacted in other parts of the city where the source of that violence comes from Newburgh groups and gangs. So by addressing activity in Newburgh, we are addressing gun violence around the city simultaneously. Second, we will also better understand, as I said earlier, how to replicate this model to the unique characteristics of any other neighborhood around the city, and that's our goal to do in the future.
And just one other thing to add is that we do have 5 other similar programs that we used Federal American Rescue Plan funding for that are currently in place in Russell and Smoketown and Portland, in California and Shawnee neighborhoods as well. So those programs are already underway. Any other questions? All right, well, we are really excited about the success of this program. This truly is not only going to save lives, we believe, but is also going to provide better opportunities for our kids and young adults to help them on the right path to achieve all of their hopes and dreams. Thank you all very much.
Okay, no worries. I made sure. Absolutely. Thank you.
Hello.